what up? It's your boy Marques Houston. I'm chilling right here on YouKnowIGotSoul.com because we got soul, baby. What's up, guys? How you coming out?
Thanks for taking the time for the interview.
No problem, no doubt.
So just to get started, want to talk about your new album, Famous, you're releasing next month. Kind of just, give us an introduction to the album.
Well, Famous is it's my latest album. I'm very excited about this one because it's a lot different from my previous album. It's a lot more mature, and one of the major differences is the soul.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to make a classic soulful album, something that, I feel like the industry right now is a lot of politics, a lot of, who's on whose record, and who's got this person, who knows this person, who dates this person. I wanted to make an album that spoke through for the music. I didn't want it to be about any politics or any features, anything like that. I wanted to really, really focus on the music. So
right.
This album, I think it focuses solely on, the soul of the music.
Right.
And people and feeling good and really wanting to sing along to the songs and, not skipping around to their favorite track but liking the entire album. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This new album represents all of that.
Well, and I was reading that, this album, you were looking to take your artistry to the next level, and it has a Marvin Gaye meets D'Angelo kind of feel. Musically, what kind of influenced you, for this album?
I listen to Marvin Gaye all the time. I've always been a huge Marvin Gaye fan. I love D'Angelo. I love Prince. I love that whole live, jam session kind of music that you can listen to and you feel like you're in a concert when you listen to the album.
Right.
Or you want to go listen to these songs in concert. So I think it was important to me to because I'm used to making classic R&B music and the sexy songs and stuff like that. But with this one, I wanted to do something that was a little bit different and give you that whole live feeling and that Prince D'Angelo kind of sexy, soulful songs, not just what people are used to me doing. So
right.
I switch it up a little bit.
And you've been at this for a while now. Do you feel like that's something your fans are looking for from you and are ready for from you?
I think they are ready. I think my fans have definitely matured with me.
Right.
They've come up with me since my immature days, and I think, a lot of my fans out there want to hear, more mature sound and more grown-up sound because they're grown. You know what I'm saying? We're all grown now. I'm up to 32. And, I think it's important to give the fans, because honestly, the whole inspiration behind this album is my fans. I took a little break from the music industry to kind of pursue my career as an actor, and I started my own film company, and I produced 4 films and executive produced 4 films as well. So, I would be out places, and my fans will come to me man, when are you going to do some new music? Or they'll see me on my Instagram or my Facebook or my Twitter, Marques, we miss you, the game needs you, you got to come with some new music. So my fans are definitely who inspired me to even get in the studio to record a new album in the first place. So
right.
This album it's kind of for my fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and like you mentioned, you've been doing some big things with film in the past few years. Your last album was 2010. So, kind of, how did you know it was time to refocus and get back to the music?
I don't think you ever know for sure. But like I said, my fans, everywhere I went, they were on me about music. So I was like, you know what? I have to give my fans what they've been asking for.
Right.
I'm the kind of person, I'm the kind of artist that loves to please my fans, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be who I am at all.
Right. No.
So I felt like, this is important for me to give them a great album. So I was like, let me get this studio. And it only took me a month to this album because I was so inspired by, everybody wanting music from me. And, I just thank God every day that I'm still able to do it.
Right.
And I just went for it.
Cool. Now, this album is being released in a partnership with Shinichi, the independent label. Do you feel like there's going to be anything different about the way you kind of release this project, being part of that?
I like being independent. It gives me a lot more control. A lot more control to do what I want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. And something you've emphasized and I've read in another interview you did, you're looking to make something classic and timeless with this project, Have you felt like in the past your goals have been a little different when going into creating music? I've heard some artists talk about chasing hits and things like that, but, for you, how's it been in the past compared to now?
Well, I love classic albums, you know, and I've always wanted to do like a real classic album, something that you can remember forever, you know. And I like I said, I thank God every day because my career has enabled me to make a lot of good albums that people love. Mm-hmm. But I really, really wanted to do something that was like more like that you talk about from years from now. Like, you know, it's like, man, that one Marques album is like my favorite album. You know what I mean? So right. I thought it was important to really get back into that frame of mind, like of making a classic album, not just, oh, here I want to do a couple of songs and then we're going to do that. You know? Right. We're going to pick some hot tracks for this album. Like, I felt like it was important to me to really think about the entire album and do it as a whole piece. Right. You know what I mean? Instead of just putting a lot of songs on an album.
Yeah, you know? I like that approach. Cool. Now, you know, you like I said, you've been doing things with film past few years. Your fans want you to come back and do music. Have you ever, you know, concentrated on just doing one of the two things, maybe just doing film or giving up on one of the two? Has that ever been a possibility for you?
No, I don't think so, because I'm so much, you know, I love to act. I love to produce films. I love the movie and film industry. But then again, music is part of me. It's who I am. I'm going to love music till the day I die. So, you know, I don't think I would ever give up on one. Even if I take break, like kind of how I took a couple years off to pursue the acting and do the behind-the-scenes thing with the films. You know, I may take breaks here and there, but it's always, they're both something that I always am going to do as long as I can.
Right, right. Can you, you know, compare the two creative processes, you know, creating, you know, producing a film or starring in a film compared to creating music? You know, what is the differences there for you creatively?
The biggest difference is when you're creating music, it's like creating a masterpiece. You know, it's you. Your heart and your soul have to be involved. When you're creating a movie, your heart and soul has to be involved in it, but it's more of a job.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be passionate about the job of what, because it's like working a 9 to 5 when you're doing a movie.
Right.
You know, when you're in the studio and you're like things come up on the spot, like doing music is just like, it's all about a feeling. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, if you're doing a movie, it's not about a feeling. You got to stick to the script, you got to stick to the schedule. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different. You can't be like, I feel like going to work today. No, it's like you got to be there every day. Like I said, like a 9 to 5. Can't be late. You know, timing is of the essence. Like with music, you can have an idea at 1 in the morning to go to the studio and make.
Right. All right, got you.
It's the creative process is so different. So.
All right, cool. Now, you know, you first started making music with IMX back in like 1992. You know, it's over 2 decades ago. How have you noticed things in the music industry change in that time?
Oh, so much has changed. Like, you know, the industry now is all about popularity. It's all about who you know, who you got on your record, how catchy your song is. You know, back then, when I was coming up as an artist, it was really about the artistry. It was really about the music. It was about performance. It was about being entertained. It was about magazines. It was about hanging posters on your wall. You know, and artists were artists. You know, now with the social media aspect of the industry, it allows so much more to be looked into. You know what I'm saying? So many more personalized. Back then, like, well, artists was artists, and then what they did with their personalized,
Right.
You know, nowadays everything is just one big chaotic ball of everything.
Right.
And there's no privacy anymore. People like to feel like the more personal they are with the more successful the artist is. You know, back then, people didn't really want to know who the artist was. They just wanted to, they loved them being an artist and being about the music and that. And nowadays, it's like, you know, it's just gossip. It's like, well, they gossip.
It's crazy. And, you know, just to kind of wrap up, love to get the history from artists. I love your debut album, MH, your debut solo project. What do you remember about? What do you remember about creating that album?
My fondest memory of that album was my first being alone in the studio, kind of recording by myself. You know, without the boys, without being on the LGD. It was kind of like just weird. It was kind of like, you know, I wanted to create a sound for myself that was different from the group, but it was also kind of like, it was weird because I was in the studio by myself and the songs were coming out and it was just me on them, and it was a solo album and it wasn't a group. Like, you know, when you're in a group, your songs are tailor-made for that group, but when you go solo, you know, to really talk about things that you can't really talk about in the group because now you're a solo artist, so it's like it's just you. So that transition process from going to a group going solo. That's what I remember about that album.
Yeah, cool. So that's all we have for you. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Follow me on Instagram at Marques Houston 1. Follow me on Twitter at Marques Houston. And go pick up the album. It comes out August 27th. I'm really excited about it, and I hope that everybody loves it.